Toroom is a dungeon crawler roguelike top-down shooter where the protagonist just wants to come back to his bedroom after waking up in a world of fantasy, fight your way through multiple biomes, clear rooms full of enemies, and get as much loot as possible and defeat the bosses in your way. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Mabimpressions. Today we're going to be talking about Toroom. This game came out July 17th, 2021, and it was developed and published by Gagonfei, I think that's how you pronounce it. It is $11.99 US, and this is a full game, not an early access. So we're going to talk about whether or not I recommend the game, its faults, and the good stuff about it. First of all, do I recommend it? Yes, I think it is very good for its price. As mentioned before, it is a roguelite game. It's not a crazy long game, but it is addicting. I would say that Toroom is a very good game if you want a distraction for a day or two, or maybe a couple of hours if you're very good with the game, because with it being a roguelite, it is very skillful, and sure, it is some luck. So how the game loop pretty much goes is you start the game with a character. You have two characters. You have one that is good with more melee and one that is more good with magic, but as you collect these randomized items and equipment throughout the game, you can kind of change your play style. So how it works is it's one gigantic floor. Think of it, the closest I can think of is like Binding of Isaac and Enter the Gungeon, where you pretty much go through different rooms, defeat all the enemies, collect consumables, collect equipment, collect money, and then you just move on. You go through shops, and then you fight a boss here. So you start the game with a random chest. It's always the same biome, by the way. This is an ice biome. You get a random chest. Now these equipments could be, things that help you passively, like, oh, it gives you boots which make you run faster, or maybe you get a mana ring which restores mana on doing damage. So stuff like that. Both of the characters start off with their own weapons respectively. You get a sword, and the other guy gets a wand, which uses up mana, and mana recovers over time. So, like I said, the game's good for its price, and the only thing I think really stopping it from being like a really like 100% recommendation, because I would say definitely play this if you like roguelites, but this is like a smaller game than like 100+ hours of like Isaac. I would say this one's like 3 to 5 hours of stuff if you're good. But yeah, the only thing stopping it is the price is like good, but the game, you just feel like you want more out of it, because when you first start the game, it feels good, it feels fun. You're like, damn, this is a fun little roguelite where it's very challenging. There's a lot of fun enemies. The graphics are smooth. The animations are great. It plays like a twin stick shooter. You can play with a keyboard and mouse, but I recommend playing with a controller. I use an Xbox One controller because it's twin stick. However, what's really weird is you move with the left stick, you attack with the right stick like Isaac. You can shoot in all the directions, but then you roll. There's like a rolling action that you have to press with the B button. So that means you have to do like the Dark Souls claw thing, so you can hold run in Dark Souls and then like move the camera here. But then in this game, you're shooting and then you press the B button to roll, which is kind of annoying. And I want to talk about the roll. My God, the first like hour or so in the game, I was trying to figure out like what the hell is wrong with this roll, because in most games that give you an option to roll, it sometimes gives you invincibility frames. So if you time it perfectly, you can roll over traps, or you can roll through enemy projectiles. I kept using it instinctively, like in Enter the Gungeon or something. I kept running into projectiles and getting hit. I had no idea that you had 0 invincibility frames. I was like, dang, am I timing this wrong? Am I too slow? Am I too early? But then as we kept playing the game, I found an item. I think it was called Boots of Speed or something like that. And this one actually says in the item description, it gives you invincibility while rolling. So I was like, oh God, well, at least I 100% confirmed it. But it kind of sucks that, you know, I had to find an item that way. The game didn't say anything about that. So yeah, there's no reason to roll in the game because you get like a very slight movement boost that only lasts for a little bit. So it's not that worth it to use it in regular without the boost of speed, because you can't really attack while rolling. So you know, like I said, after you play for a while, you kind of see how the game rolls. And you just wish it was a lot more. For example, there's only like a couple of like very, very basic room types. I think like 3 of them. You have a regular room with enemies where you clear them. Sometimes it's like 3 enemies, sometimes like 7, 8, 9. It's crazy, and it depends on the biome. Some encounters are just way tougher than others, and I feel like this is a game where you just don't want to go melee unless you find like the really specific items that decrease damage and just it's really good for melee. But just stay range in this game, so that you get basic enemies, you defeat them all, you clear them. The enemies are cool because sometimes they drop money, they drop consumables like health pots or mana pots, and oh, this is a really unique thing. Depending on the enemy, they can sometimes drop a specific equipment. So in the ice biome, if you're fighting a snowman, they can drop a snowman head, which is a magical item. So you shoot like snowballs really fast, really fast. They're weak, but you pelt enemies with them. So it's nice that enemies can sometimes drop a specific equipment. I think that was cool. So that's the enemy room. There's also like little pots in there you break. Then there's the treasure room where it's just a bunch of little small treasure chests and pots, and sometimes a larger treasure chest, which usually gives you a new weapon or equipment. There's the shops, which the shopkeeper is there, and depending on the biome, you get like a different shopkeeper. Like one's a, I think one was a fish, or I could be wrong. One's a fish, and the other one was like a rat or something. And then, which, you know, there's a bunch of items in there. A lot of the items can be found, like I said, for example, the snowman head. You can find it by killing a snowman, but sometimes you won't even fight a snowman. And then you can just buy it in the shop for cheaper. But like I said, you can find it, so it's tough. You mostly want to buy accessories on there because they're really nice. There are some items called like cursed accessories where it gives you like a negative, but it also gives you a good buff. For example, like, oh, lower damage, but higher attack speed, more attack speed, but like lower crit rate and stuff like that. So those are the shop rooms. And then you get the teleport rooms, which just has a bed, which makes you teleport back and forth between different teleport spots. And then the boss room where you go in and you fight the boss. And guess what? That's it. That is all the variety in the rooms. So the game is like really heavily relies on finding items and making fun progression that way. Because there's no traps, there's no obstacles, there's no mazes, there's no puzzles. It's just enemies and enemies and enemies. And most of them can be easily destroyed by the circling around them. So, you know, after playing a while, it kind of gets like a little too simple. But like I said, it's fun for a small distraction, like for an afternoon or something. But what's really challenging are the boss battles. Like I said, some of the regular encounters can be tough for sure. But you know, the boss battles are where it's at. You can see I'm showing you a little bit there. The first one is called Cantasaws, is like, you know, Santa Claus, of course. And yeah, he has like a couple of cool attacks, and then the other one like totally destroyed me. It's really tough. And the power spike, like the difficulty spike is really high on those bosses. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The game isn't like that crazy. There is some replayability though, which I do have to give them props for that. You start the game with 2 characters, right? There's an easy mode, a normal mode, and a hardcore mode, and there's a fiesta mode and stuff like that after. You can unlock it later, but then there's like 6 characters you can unlock, and you have to do certain things. I think one of them was you have to explore every single room in a run. One was beat it on hardcore mode, beat it on you know, fiesta mode, and then one said, oh, it's a secret, so I wonder how you get that. But each of them should do something a little different. All right. So like I said, I really like the graphics. It's very fun, pixelated. The sprites are nice. They're really fun to look at. The only thing that's a little annoying is the camera seems a little too zoomed in at times, and I have this like really weird like love and hate relationship with cameras in these type of games. Like, I love it zoomed in enough where you can look and appreciate the enemy sprites, your own sprites, but then if it's too zoomed in, it's really hard gameplay wise. Like, you can't see things coming at you. You're shooting things off screen. But then sometimes if it's too zoomed out, I'm like, I can't see. It's really dumb. You know, I can't even see myself there. So it's mostly a bullet hell. right? Sometimes enemies will come up to you and swipe you, but it's mostly bullet hells, especially with the bosses and whatnot. So, yeah, Toroom, it's not a terrible game. I would say it's okay for its price. And I mentioned this a bunch, but it's a good distraction for a day or two or a couple of hours if you're really good. And there is replayability if you like the game a lot. You can go through multiple difficulties, unlock all the characters. So I'd say it's definitely worth the money. But just know, it's basically just bullet hell fighting with nothing too crazy. And yeah, there's a good amount of options with weapons and stuff. Mostly it's just like a boomerang, spear, swords, and other stuff. But yeah, Toroom's not bad. Definitely check it out. So if you guys enjoy, leave a like. It helps a lot. If you haven't already, sub for daily videos. If you guys want to see all of the gameplay footage, I have all the episodes on my Let's Play channel, Mabimpressions Games VOD. A link is down below, and also to my Twitch and Discord and Instagram and all the stuff. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.